Silent Hill F is the next upcoming mainline installment within the Silent Hill franchise. Recently, as of yesterday, they released a new trailer for the game, but so far we have no idea when it actually releases as of now, although I'd suspect it would probably come down the line of either this year or perhaps in 2026 at the earliest. There's a lot to be said and asked about the recent trailer, but it was released during the recent Silent Hill Transmission premiere, and there's a lot that was said, specifically talks of who works on the game, what the game means in a sense, and most generally the development of the game so far. It's looking great so far, and honestly I can't wait for what they're pushing for. The graphics are very pleasing, and I just love the aesthetic that they've been showing. It just throws all the beautiful Japanese culture in the Silent Hill universe with a much more dark underlying tone to it, which is what we'll see in the main game. God, do I just love the otherworld look in the game as well. The universe of Silent Hill is expanding greatly, but how does this game really connect to the other Silent Hill games? Well, here's the thing. While we don't really know as of yet how it might connect to the other games, they haven't really spoken on how it is either. We can expect at the most that there will be Easter eggs to the franchise's town in Maine, but I wouldn't expect to see too much from the other games. The reason why I say this is because not only is Silent Hill F taking place across the world into Japan, but it also takes place in the 1960s, which is very far off from the majority of the rest of the franchise. In fact, there is no other Silent Hill game that even takes place before this, making Silent Hill F the earliest title, timeline-wise, in the franchise if it is in fact considered canon by Konami. If it isn't canon, then it might as well just be like Shattered Memories. But considering Konami cares so much about canon in Silent Hill, at least since Ascension's release, it would make the most sense to do so. That being said though, they do have events that take place in the town from the past, obviously, but I'm not really sure how they'd connect either. But what really makes some of the distinction between this and the rest of the franchise? Well, according to the people who are a part of the game, this will be an independent game from the rest of the other games. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it wouldn't connect in any way at all, but it doesn't seem like it needs to. If you don't know from the recent Silent Hill projects, the short message was released January 31st of 2024 on the PlayStation 5 as a short little fun horror game to play. Within the game, there are a lot of different notes that you can find, with many explaining the lore within the building you're in and adding a lot more background to the story. Some of the most important parts of the Silent Hill lore is what was changed. Some argue as a retcon, although to be honest with you, Silent Hill has been all over the place for the past few years, so it's already kind of a mess. But either way, the short message created the idea of something called the Silent Hill phenomenon, which is essentially, to put in quotes, to one who is psychologically unstable, fog represents uncertainty and sensory illusions. When in a state of high stress, one's vision may be obscured or tunneled as if one is wandering through a dense fog or mist. So basically, there's a mysterious fog that can come around and cause all the shit that goes throughout the franchise and blah 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 blah. There's more to it, but it just makes everything more confusing, honestly. Now, because of this enables and gives more control to the people who is currently developing more Silent Hill games, giving them more free reign when it comes down to where each game setting might occur. For example, Silent Hill Ascension takes place in both Pennsylvania and Norway. The short message takes place in Germany, and F, well, you know, takes place in Japan. So Silent Hill can basically happen anywhere at this point. This was a big problem for a lot of fans, and they really got mad at it because, once again, it kind of retcons the whole purpose of Silent Hills. Not only Fog World, but kind of what it represents in general. So Silent Hill, essentially, can happen anywhere at this point. I honestly wouldn't doubt it if Shattered Memories was added to the canon in some way or another, even if it makes zero sense. To go even further with actual connections, there's actually already connections to Japan in the short message, and they come through the notes, interestingly enough. There's notes about a witch in the game which refers back to the same town the short message takes place, being Kettenstadt, Germany, during the 1930s, and refers back to her death in 1947, which is 13 years prior to Silent Hill F, if let's say it takes place in 1960, for example. The witch is also mentioned to be Japanese. Now, maybe this has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I think it's noteworthy because we really don't know anything about the witch, and in my opinion, she was left to be a mystery within the game. There's also the fact that both Silent Hill F and the short message deal with plants. The short message to a lesser degree, to be fair, but it still involves it, including especially Secura Head. If you want to go check out the notes for the short message, the game is free on PS5, and I recommend checking it out because it is a short and solid horror game. That being said, there's not really a lot to talk about so far in terms of how this game might connect with the rest of the franchise, but I thought it would be fun to start engaging and talking about it. There's a lot of really good looking stuff in the game so far, and honestly, I'm still pretty hyped, even if this has nothing to do with Silent Hill's main town, because it's basically Japan's own version of handling Silent Hill, and much less of a Western approach compared to the other games, which is even mentioned in the video itself. I think the graphics look really nice. Once again, I think the aesthetic is cool. The monster looks really cool. We don't really have a good look at everything, but again, everything looks really nice, and I really dig it. The story is intriguing enough even if we haven't had enough, shown to us yet. That being said though, how do you feel about the game so far? Are you excited? Intrigued? Comment down below, please. I need someone to say something. Okay, sorry. I know I'm speaking to myself again. I'll see you guys later though. Goodbye.